Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Kayla and I'm a registered psychotherapist who releases new videos every Monday about all things BPD and mental health. And this is my cat Mojo. If you're wondering, he will be assisting us in the video today. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in seeing more of Mojo about learning about BPD or all things mental health, then I encourage you to hit the subscribe button down below as well as the bell notification up top. Just important to know that these videos are for educational purposes only and they're not meant as a substitute for real psychotherapy. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic. So today I really wanted to spend the time to talk about the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset, because I think that developing a growth mindset is so essential for the population at large, and especially for those who are in the process of recovering from BPD, because I know that there's this tendency to think about things in black or white ways, that there seems to be a tendency to think of ourselves as fixed in time with a fixed identity of we're always going to be the person who sucks at doing those things and we can never get better. And when we open up to develop this more open way of living, meaning the growth mindset, it makes everything much smoother along the way. So first of all, let's start by defining what a fixed mindset is. People who have a fixed mindset have this belief that their attributes, talents, and intelligence are fixed in time, meaning that those are things that they're just born with, that they can never change. And I hear this all the time. I'm sure that maybe some of you can identify with this. The classic, I'm just bad at math. I'm just not a math person. Never happened, never will be. I suck at math. That's a very fixed mindset. So those people have the belief that they're just not math people and they never will be math people. The issue with having a fixed mindset is that those people tend to avoid challenges or threats in life and also are threatened by the success of other people. This is because people who have a fixed mindset have this belief that intelligence is something that you are. And so when people are more successful, more intelligent, more this, it comes as a personal attack to their own identity and sense of competence. And so we can see this hyper competitive nature with also this really low self-esteem. When they're met with a challenge or failure, they simply give up in those times of difficulty. Those with a fixed mindset believe that individual traits cannot be changed. And I'm just going to read my list of characteristics for those who have a fixed mindset, because I think that you might identify yourself in some of these things. So for example, those with a fixed mindset believe intelligence and talent are static. They avoid challenges to avoid failures. They ignore feedback from others. They feel threatened by the success of others. They hide their flaws to not be judged by others. They believe putting in effort is worthless. They view feedback as personal criticism, and they give up easily. And so if you find yourself thinking, oh, I do some of those things, you might have a fixed mindset. So now that we have a sense about what a fixed mindset is, let's talk about the other one, which is a growth mindset. Those who have a growth mindset believe that their attributes, talents, and intelligence can improve over time. This is not to say that those who have a growth mindset believe that they can all become the next Einstein of the world, or that they have the power to achieve that kind of level. However, what they do believe is that intelligence, their talents or attributes or those kinds of things can be improved with efforts and actions. Those with a growth mindset also see setbacks as necessary, as a way to gain feedback, to learn about themselves, and they see failures or failings as temporary and changeable. This is really critical to developing motivation and resilience. And again, just going to read the list of characteristics, but those who adopt a growth mindset are more likely to embrace lifelong learning, believe intelligence can be improved, put in effort to learn, believe efforts lead to mastery, believe failures are just temporary setbacks, view feedback as a source of information, willingly embraces challenges, views other success as a source of inspiration, and views feedback as an opportunity to learn. So we really see the difference. On the one hand, with a fixed mindset, we see these people who are hypersensitive to criticism, who avoid challenges to avoid failure, who are scared of feedback from others, who are threatened by the success of others, who really don't engage in things that are challenging or dangerous. And where we see those with a growth mindset, we see people who are open, who see failures as temporary and changeable, who see intelligent or talents or things like that as things that can be improved over time with efforts and actions. They see failures as a good way to gain feedback and insight. They are inspired by the success of others, and we really see that there's a clear distinction between having a fixed or a growth mindset. So how do we move from having a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? I think the first thing that's important to do is to recognize that scientifically speaking, our brains are changeable, meaning that our brains are plastic. We can learn new things over time. And even looking at the research or books that talk about the growth mindset, resiliency, all those kinds of things, they have shown studies about people, for example, that have a fixed mindset, that they suck at art, they're just not good at drawing. And after following a 2-week course, the amount of change that were expressed in their initial drawings versus the ones that they did after 2 weeks, you wouldn't even think that this was the same person who was drawing these things. And so it's encouraging to see that, just knowing that our brains are plastic, that we can learn new things, that we can challenge ourselves and push ourselves to develop new talents and new capacities in terms of intelligence, obviously within the limits of our own predetermined genes. It is inspiring to see. The second thing that I would recommend is to focus on the process rather than the outcomes. I think that those who have a fixed mindset are really focused on the outcomes. Can I get the best grade? Can I get the fastest time for the 100-meter sprint that I'm doing? Can I be the best in this art class? Can I do this? Can I get the degree? Exactly, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the problem with this is that when we focus on the outcome and we don't succeed, it takes a big hit to our self-esteem, to our identity as a person, and we can feel really lost in those moments, rather than if we switch to focusing on the process of, I'm going to try as best as I can, and I will organize myself to the most degree that I can, and I will really put my 100% in it. Regardless of the outcome, we can find strength and pride in trying and focusing on doing the thing. Thirdly, I would encourage you to get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you can make a scale of things that are really outside of your comfort zone, and maybe once a week you can start with a thing that's a 1 in terms of stress level, and then build up to 2, 3, 4 until every week or every month you're doing something that's challenging, that's new, that forces you to get uncomfortable, so that you learn that it's okay to fail and that failing is part of the process. And failing is actually important because it provides us useful information about how we can improve or how we can change. I hope that today's video was useful and that maybe you recognize some things in yourself, because there's always room for improvement. There's always room for us to become more open, more process-oriented rather than outcome-oriented, which ultimately leads to a life that feels more rich and meaningful, because we're really focused on living in accordance to our values, focusing on the process, and not so much about the praise or success that we might be deriving from the outcomes in life. On that note, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today. I wish you all the best week, and I will see you next time for another episode of On the Line.